Welcome back to the channel, guys. I was looking at the charts some days back when I was doing my analysis, and I was like, damn, there's literally head and shoulders everywhere. Like right here, currently in front of my screen, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I decide to expand this a little bit, 5. So I'm seeing 8 different head and shoulder patterns right here in front of my screen. You can go ahead and pause the video, circle or mark it up, so when we get into it, you see it. You see if you identified correctly or wrongly. Now, if I would be very honest with you, don't always expect to see the head and shoulder pattern look this perfect. Such that we have the left and the right shoulder aligned exactly. On some occasions, you will get to see the left shoulder slightly higher than the right shoulder. And then on some other occasions, the right shoulder is slightly higher than the left. And then some other times, it might even come in this form. But as long as it's this kind of reversal formation, then that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this session right here. Within this very highlighted session, I guarantee you can already see one head and shoulder pattern. But then there's 4 different types of head and shoulder pattern. So go ahead and pause the video and let me know if you see what I see. So very quickly, the first head and shoulder pattern would be this guy right here. Well, what is a head and shoulder? So a head and shoulder is just a reversal pattern. Literally, it's where it tends to be either at the top of a trend, and then it's going to reverse and head to the downside. Like this. Or vice versa, it's at the bottom of a trend. And this is where it's going to start reversing and then head to the upside, just like this. So very quickly, the first head and shoulder pattern right here would be this here, where we have the left shoulder, head, and then the right shoulder. And as soon as we had the break of the neckline, the market reversed and started heading to the downside. You can see we were buying, and then we came to this level, this price level, and then the trend reversal was ushered in by the head and shoulder pattern. And then the very next head and shoulder pattern I can see would be this right here, or I have the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder. And then, of course, this is a third head and shoulder pattern right here. Here we have the left shoulder, the head, and then this being the right shoulder. And also we have this as a head and shoulder pattern that ended up not playing out as expected. That goes to show that this is not going to result in the very same outcome every one of the time it does appear in the chart. And there are some few occasions where it will not end up going as expected. And this is one of these exceptions. You can see the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder. Or we did not have to see price change the trend direction and continue in a bullish move to the upside. So this is an exception where we have an inverse head and shoulder pattern that ended up not presenting us a trend reversal by movement to the upside. And then just to make sure you are able to get this even more clearer, let's see if we can identify some more. Okay, so right here, I can see one, two, I can see three head and shoulder patterns right here. And this would be the first head and shoulder pattern. This is an inverse head and shoulder pattern, with this being the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder. And as soon as we had the break of the neckline, we had what? H current reversal. Price started rallying to the upside. And then, of course, we have right here a left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder. And here is an inverse head and shoulder pattern. Right about here, left shoulder, head, and then the right shoulder. So also I have also an inverse head and shoulder pattern here also. This being the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder. Perfect example of an inverse head and shoulder pattern. And let's see if we can get some more head and shoulder pattern right here. So I can see one very quickly. I believe you can see this right here too. We have this being the left shoulder, the head, and then of course the right shoulder. So let's see if we have one more. One more right about here. Guys, tell me you can see this. Tell me you can see this. So we have two inverse head and shoulder patterns right here. Tell me you can see this. We have this being the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder. And then, of course, there's this right here, the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder. Perfect example of an inverse head and shoulder pattern. As soon as we had the break of the neckline, you can see price continue to rally into the upside. Now, guys, I can't make this up. These things are literally everywhere in the charts. You just have to trade your eyes to spot them. And then it is one thing to be able to identify these head and shoulder patterns. And then it's another to trade the market using this concept. Now, even more interesting is the fact I sent out 3 trade signals on step index right here in my free Telegram channel. Using the very concept of the head and shoulder pattern. One of the signals ended up stopping us out with loss as the market stopped on head. So yeah, this is the first signal I gave on the 23rd on step index. And we had our stop loss hits because there was a stop on. And then I sent a second sell signal to get right back in on the trade. And then also I sent out a third sell trade signal using the concept of head and shoulder pattern, which I will be explaining shortly, while I called every one of these trade signals on the free Telegram channel. So very quickly from the 4-hourly time frame right there, I noticed we came into a daily key level. Somewhere around 84. So I'm around 84.40. So I'm coming to this daily key level right about here. So very quickly, let me bring up the daily time frame just so you. So as you can see, we are trade into a daily key level. Looking to the left, you can see we have had multiple rejections in the opposite directions for every of the time we tested the level, making this level a daily key level. So on getting down to the 4-hourly time frame, price presented me a perfect head and shoulder pattern as soon as we tapped into the daily key level was when I noticed price printed a left shoulder, a head, and then a potential right shoulder, which is a reversal chart pattern, a sell reversal chart pattern, forming where at a daily area of interest, the daily key level, giving me clues that the market's direction is likely going to change and start heading to the downside. So I had my first sell entry, all right, at the formation of the potential right shoulder here. And what I noticed was from the 1 hourly time frame, price had traded nicely into a 1 hourly structured level. Where we had the potential right shoulder. So price had traded very nicely into this level, being a 1 hourly structured level. So this is where I had the first entry or sell. Having identified the potential right shoulder forming from the 4-hour time frame, and then on getting down to the 1 hour time frame, I'd quickly noticed right here we had a structured level, previous level of resistance right about here. And when we had a break above the level held up as support. And then we had a break below the level. And then also from the 1 hourly time frame, we had ourselves here a perfect chart pattern, which is a double top pattern. Sorry for using this. Double top pattern. And then with a confirmed break of the neckline of the double top. And then the retest of the 1 hourly structured level, where we had the potential right shoulder forming on the 4-hourly time frame. And as soon as I add this small weak rejection of the potential right shoulder off of the 1 hourly structured level, previously support, broken becomes a new resistance. I did not even wait for a confirmation signal, which would have been this next bearish momentum candlestick close. I knew for a fact, I was very certain price will continue to head to the downside. So I had my first entry for sell as soon as I had that weak rejection from the 1 hourly time frame structured level being the potential right shoulder as seen from the 4-hourly time frame. And then that was my first entry for sell. And then moving back to the 4-hourly time frame, where I scaled in a second entry position, that being the second trade I called out signal. The second trade signal I called out was at the confirmed formation of the head and shoulder pattern. So this first sell was at the potential right shoulder. As soon as we add this 4-hourly candlestick close below the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern, this makes this a confirmed head and shoulder pattern. And then I was very certain for a fact price would continue to head to the downside. All I needed was for this nice retest of the neckline of the 4-hour lead time for instruction level. As you can see, the level held up as support right here, support. And when we had a break below the level, we had a retest of a previously broken support, now it's on the resistance. We had a retest of the 50 exponential moving average. So I had lots of confluences why I definitely was looking to sell at the retest of this level right here, being the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern. And as soon as price tapped into that level, I'd also noticed introducing the Fibonacci retracement from the swing high right here to the swing low here. We had nicely tapped into the 78.6 Fibonacci reversal level, also putting up the confluences of price or expecting this level in higher chances. And this is where, as soon as price tapped into that level, I scaled down to the 15 minutes time frame where I had my next entry confirmation for sale right here. From the 15 minutes time frame, all I needed at the retest of that level was a shift in structure. So here, right, we have this being the level. As soon as we tapped into the level, we had a nice 15 minutes rejection candlestick. And then we had a nice shift in market structure, with this being the higher low that led to the higher high right here. So as soon as we had a break below this higher low, pointing us a shift in the market structure from the 15-minute time frame was where I entered the next sell trade with my stop loss just above the high right about here. And then taking this back to the 4-hourly time frame again. Having entered both trades, I pretty much was anticipating for price to come and test the previous daily lows, somewhere around 87, 83, 70 psychological round number. So this was my first trade right here for a nice and then the next trade was right here. And as you can see, after entering both trades, at the retest of the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern, we had price tanked to the downside in my anticipated direction. And then just shy, a few pips shy of my take profit, we had the price kind of acting up currently. I ended up entering the third sell trade just because I kind of still expect price to head all the way to the downside. So I ended up entering the third sell trade right about here. So I noticed at the break of this level, this is a 4-hourly time frame structure level. As you can see right here, when we're beneath the level held up as a resistance. Right here as support. Right here as resistance, and then a resistance again. Support right about here. And when we're beneath the level, very much expected to act as a resistance also. So at the retest of this level, I scaled down again to the 15 minutes time frame, where I got my third sell entry on this. For also a nice 1 to 3. And I'm currently still very much holding all 3 trade positions. With the first and second trade positions already securing a reasonable profit, as my stop loss for the first and second trade has been moved to this previous highs right about here. So I'm pretty much expecting in the next couple of hours for price to get to my anticipated take profit level on this. Now that's it, guys. Leave me a comment what you think about this, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you in the next video, guys.